Con. All right. Of course, always. Rock the Yahweh.
Rock the Yahweh. Rock the Yahweh. Rock the Yahweh. Rock the Yahweh. Call Halayim. Ba'ashem. Rakakadash.
Double honor to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone. Peace and shalom to the Akim out there and the elect. That consists of the men, women, and children. All right, on this sign, selected to make it out of here from the coming nuclear destruction. All right. What you got to realize is that every time there's a great destruction within the empire and the rulership, there was always men of the Lord to prophesy of it. All right? And what did they prophesy? The word of the Lord. They prophesied. They deal with prophecy. All right? Prophecy is huge. All right? And people got to understand this. Prophecy dispels lies. All right? The Christian church can go only but so far until prophecy comes into play. And that's the spirit of Yahweh Shai. All right? Shah.
Jeremiah 28:8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old.
Yeah, the prophets, the seers that have been before Jeremiah. All right? And before them. Going all the way back, man. All right? Go ahead.
Prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms. Of war, of evil, and of pestilence.
And against great kingdoms of war. When you look at war, war simply means battle or fight. There's many types of battles or fights that have been on the planet Earth. Some bigger, some smaller. All right? Then you have what? The fights and battles that are domestic within a nation. That's also a war. You have something called a race war. You have something called a civil war. These things are coming, all right, upon America. Go ahead.
The prophet which prophesieth of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord hath truly sent him.
Right. And guess what? We prophesy, and we have been prophesying, and the apostles and elders before us have been prophesying, and the things that they have been saying has been coming to pass. Remember, they prophesied of the MOTB, okay, before it even came on the scene. And then all of a sudden you start seeing little stuff in the news and movies. All right? That's how you know that men are what? The prophets. Starting with Great Millstone on down. All right? They prophesied of pestilence. And what have you been seeing these past years? All right? What have you been seeing these past years? Well, hold on to that, brother. Hold on to that. You know, hey, you know what? May that be, you know, that's the spirit right there, the spirit of the Lord. You know? A chick that looks like an Edomite, you can get him on camera, bro. A chick that looks like an Edomite came by and handed the brother $10. All right? That's the spirit of the Lord who did it. All right? You see that? Go to read that again. That, hey, call on me. How about you outside, bro? All right, go ahead.
Jeremiah 28:8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence.
And guess what? They did that, all right, in the midst of any kingdom, any great kingdom that was ruling who the Heavenly Father wanted to take down. All right? And it wasn't just us in those kingdoms being ruled. You had other nations that were being ruled over. That's why we're doing the same thing again today. We're prophesying on the highways and hedges to the nations. All right? Prophesying of what? The downfall of these wicked kingdoms, man, according to their actions. And we're prophesying to the nations. Why? Because our people are scattered. As we talked about earlier, these people, they are scattered. All right? And it's important to bring out, it's paramount to bring out this information because our people need to wake up. We're not in the time of lies anymore. All right? What's that Psalms? What's that Psalms 8:4 talks about leasing? Or is it Proverbs? All right. No, Psalms 4:2.
Psalms 4:2.
It says, Psalms 4:2. Matter of fact, verse 1. Hear me when I call, O Yahweh, of my righteousness. Thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. And that's what we're telling you. Call upon the name of the Lord so he can what? Keep you when you're in distress. Keep you safe. All right? It says, have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. Why? Because the prayers are only given to the nation of Israel. All right? Hey brother, you already got a couple. Hey brother, if you can get 1 Kings. 1 Kings 8.
Quick precept. Salah. This is Proverbs 8 and 5. O ye simple, understand wisdom, and ye fools, be ye of an understanding heart. Hear, for I speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness.
Yeah, wickedness is an abomination to our lips. As men of the Lord, we preach righteousness. We preach the word. We dare not preach anything that's not in the scriptures. And if we do by fault and error through the flesh say something wrong, we'll come back and correct ourselves through the spirit. We know when to humble ourselves. Right? We're not saying we're just completely perfect in this flesh. We're saying we're moving towards perfection by way of the spirit and faith. But no way are we perfect in this flesh. All right? So there's times when a brother may say something and then, oh man, I went off. Then guess what? We go back through humility and we correct it. Why? Because it's about what? The gathering of the souls. All right? The souls of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, where it says the Israel of the Most High in Galatians, the 6th chapter. That's what we're doing this for, man. All right?
Like a 20, 30-minute video just on one mistake.
One mistake.
You know?
20, 30 minutes.
And it becomes a lesson. You know? It says here, there is nothing froward or perverse in them. They are all plain to him that understandeth, and right to them that find knowledge. Receive my instruction and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold.
Right, because this wisdom and knowledge is above all jewels, rubies, gold, silver. Because when times of hell breaking loose, even when the dollar is gone and people are bartering, using gold and silver, okay? Using cattle. In today's terms, what is that? Dogs. Who knows? Whatever the other person wants. That's not going to save you. That's not going to give you a shelter during times of distress. All right? It's not going to do anything. The true thing is what, as the brother read, that's above all what? Silver and gold. It's wisdom.
Right.
All right? You have more?
Yeah, real quick. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it.
And all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to this wisdom. Okay? And it's fine because our people will walk by and they'll make mockery. But when all hell breaks loose, they will be running to those same men. All right? But in that case, the men won't be here. All right? It's kind of like in the days of Noah when they start banging on Noah and his family's door when the rain came. Remember, there was no such thing as rain. And through the spirit, the voice is projected in a certain direction. And they hear it. All right? During the days of Noah, they banged on that wall. They banged on that gopher wood. They banged on the wood, man. All right? They were screaming. Because why is the ground starting to puddle? What is this? Why is it filling up like the rivers and lakes on the ground? We have never seen this before. All right? So they panicked for dear life. And imagine, Akim, the rains came down, it was violent because, these people were trying to swim. They were trying to climb up to the highest rocks. They tried to do all that to everything. It failed. They drowned. That's a terrible way out. To go underwater and you're trying to get breath and your body just shuts down, you suffocate. So at what point does your body stop? You always see in the movies they try and then they just stop. At what point does your body go, it's too much and you stop? That is painful, man. All right? And so shall it be this time around, but with fire. People are gonna burn. Well, yeah, if you got it.
This is Genesis chapter 7. I'm going to start at verse 17.
Uh-huh.
And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bare up the ark, and it was lift up above the earth. And the waters prevailed and were increased greatly upon the earth. And the ark went up upon the face of the waters, and the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth. And all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl and of cattle and of beasts.
Shows you that one time in history, a cubit was bigger. All right? Because they say a cubit today is about what? 18 anywhere from 18 inches to 21 inches, around there. They go from elbow to the top of your middle finger. Men were bigger back then, so that means the cubit was larger. All right? You're talking about 15 cubits. Whatever that was, guess what? It was enough to cover everything. You see? It covered the mountains, it covered everything. Why you think today at the top of Mount Everest, man, right? These high mountains, why do you have marine life, fossils? Why? How the hell did sea creatures get to the top of the highest mountains? That's because of the Great Flood. The same reason why the lands split when it used to be considered Pangea and they split is because of what? The heavy weight of the water. You look on the ground during a rainstorm in certain neighborhoods. After a rainstorm, what happens? You see what? Potholes throughout town. Because what? It's the heaviness of the rain and it breaks that cheap ass rock. That's what they have in certain neighborhoods, man. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 21. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl and of cattle and of beasts and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, died.
Remember, of all, it said even the fowls, because it's going to come a time when the birds, they gotta come down. You get tired, you can't fly forever. All right, that's why Noah and his family, they had to release some birds. They did a raven, if I'm not mistaken, first, and then they did a dove to see. All right, but guess what? This is all likened to that great destruction that happened. It is going to happen again. Why wouldn't you want to listen to the men of the Lord? We're telling you about the jab, the so-called jab, okay? All right? We're telling you that these things can harm you, and they will harm you. It may not look like it now, but Esau does things for a purpose later on, okay? We're telling you about the MOTB, okay? We're telling you about these things. We're telling you about martial law, all right? Which is prophecy. You will not be able to go into what? Another kingdom, another state, so to speak now. Another territory. It's going to be famine when that happens. Because when you lock a city off, guess what? All the resources is confined to that city. So once those resources is up, that causes a famine. Then that causes mass hysteria. Then that causes violence. Then that causes death. These are the things that are coming. Go ahead, bro.
2 Esdras 15 and 14.
Uh-huh.
Woe to the world and them that dwell therein.
Woe with destruction, also lamentation to the world, all right, and to them that dwell therein. Go ahead.
For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh.
Now that's another aspect, the sword. Other than martial law, which you will have the military attacking civilians, okay? You have regular people, when we talked about violence, they will be attacking each other. Your family, believe it or not, will attack you. I'm talking about to kill you. You all know them family members that you have, they're just family just because. That's the only reason, they're just family. Just because you just happen to be born out of a lineage, that's what makes them your family. All right, that's it. Other than that, they can care less about you. You know that by certain things that you speak on, and that's certain conversations that you have with your family. All right? In that time when, hey, the so-called C-19, that taught us that. Close family members was like, hey, you can't come over here. I don't want you coming over here at all. Ones that you would never think would do that. I'll die for you type of talking people. But didn't want to be anywhere around you when this fake ass virus was out, man. Now don't get me wrong, I believe there's something out here. But at the same time, all we have to do is trust in the Lord. It's no different than all the other viruses that's out and sicknesses.
Precept?
Yep.
This is Matthew 24 and 8. All these are the beginnings of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
And this is prophecy. We're in a time of what? Iniquity abounding. The spirit that is within the DMV alone is atrocious.
See it.
When you leave this area, it is a slight difference in spirit. The spirit is heightening, and you brothers know that when they leave. The spirit is heightening, all right, in this area, because guess what? This is the capital of Babylon. This is the capital of Egypt itself. That's why this is going to be one of the worst places in America. But that spirit is going to what? Go out throughout all the land.
See it.
All right? Look at the people here when they drive on the road. They can't stand each other, man. Look, they can't drive. They don't pay attention to the road. They don't pay attention to order. This is what's being put on these people in this time. Don't think of that as a small, minute thing, Akim. Like just because they're on the road, we're talking about the road, that's actually going on in their spirit. The spirit of being rebellious. And it's about me and cutting people off on the road. It's about me even though I did the wrong. And fuck you and getting out. See, now people are getting out and shooting people in the cars and driving off.
Yeah.
This is what the scriptures is talking about. Iniquity shall abound.
Yeah.
Wickedness, famine, these mandates. You can't come into this building unless you're what? Sticker. This is what causes that iniquity.
Salakia. And you see it gradually growing, getting worse and worse, like the scripture says, it's going to wax cold. Gradually you see these things happening. Because remember, in the DMV, right, District, Maryland, Virginia, a lot of people aren't from here, born and raised. A lot of people come here, right, because of the governments and stuff like that. So they're all around Babylon. And they bring that wicked spirit from all the places, New York, Tennessee, Dallas, wherever they from in the country, they come here and just, it's like a cauldron of wicked ass spirits from across Babylon, man. And it comes right here, man, wherever you may be. Now you see the dude in New York with the two little girls, or the girl and the boy, he's shooting the dude in broad daylight, and they ducking for cover. This is the spirit that's going out throughout Babylon, this wicked ass spirit, and the waxing cold of your fellow man. I'm talking about Israelites, man. You know?
Right here is
Matthew 24:12. It says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Yeah, I just read that.
Oh shit.
You know what I'm saying? That's the spirit. It had to come out twice because this is what we dealing with. You know? Yo, this guy, he had a trailer and a truck, and he just cut me off coming to camp, and it's like, there was no reason for him to do that. But because of what he was dealing with, he did it, you know what I mean? Pull up beside him, of course he Esau, because he don't give a shit anyway. But this is the spirit in Babylon.
And if I may say as well,
yes, sir.
Just to back you up, and the elder really, I made a video on it because I mentioned it a few months ago. There was an article about how 2020 was the worst year of gun violence.
yes.
Now, last week, or earlier this week, not only on Apple News, but I believe also CNBC and the Washington Post all made different articles stating how 2021 is already projected and it's in the transition to being even worse gun violence than 2020. You see? And so basically, like the elders are saying, right now you have that spirit of rebellion that's going on in the world right now, and this is nothing more than biblical prophecy, because we began to read 2 Corinthians 15. It said the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. And we know another word for a sword is basically a killing instrument. Today will be the gun. You see, so that's direct prophecy showing you that people are going to have these certain things in their possession and they're going to actually use it. That was it.
That's right. That's right. And that's the spirit that's being brought out, because you have to have that spirit being raised up, okay, so that you can enact things like civil war. When people start to take the actions in their own power. Do we still got the second instance?
Yes, sir.
All right. We need. Finish what you had though. The other scripture.
Oh, I did.
Okay. Yes. Second instance.
2 Corinthians 15. Go to verse 15. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another.
It's close.
Yeah.
The sword and their destruction draweth nigh.
Yeah.
For one people shall stand up and fight against another. Remember the fact that we have been blamed as a nation for the increase in this virus. It didn't go away.
Yeah.
Remember what the other nations are doing to Moab. It didn't go away. All right? Not saying that our plight and Moab's plight are the same, because they're the heathen. All right? They're saying that it's showing you race war.
Right.
Remember, it said nation shall rise against nation. There's going to be many different types of race wars. Okay? But this is biblical prophecy. But guess what? You, Jake, right here, are going to be caught up something fierce.
Right.
Because you have that spirit on you too. You love everybody and you don't want to hurt anybody. And you're going to run to another nation for help. Like, help, it's us. And they're going to blast you away. All right? These are the things that's coming. Go ahead.
And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands.
Guns, knives, shanks, grenades. All right, you even had that too. We had a dude on 6th and 8th Street. He had a goddamn bazooka, man. No, and the cops ran this man down and jumped on him because whatever he had in his damn backpack. But I remember the week prior he came to us like, oh yeah, I got all that. I got grenades and all that. You don't got it now, nigga. You in jail somewhere. All right. This is what's coming. Go ahead.
Verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
Should be sedition among men. Another word you can think of is when people like to say insurrection. There should be a great insurrection, right? Right? It's another word in the scriptures. That's where they get the word insurgents from, right? Don't the military like to say the insurgents? It's the people who uprising. Insurrection. Erection meaning rise, right? Insurrection. It's an uprising.
Right.
And that's what's going to happen. And people, and guess what? People, when they take the course of their own actions and their own power, that's where you're going to see a lot of Ezekiel in the 3rd chapter towards the end coming into play. The curse is for real. All right? With the men dying in the streets and the women, the curse is on the women for real because they're going to be looking funky, nasty, all right? Completely, utterly wasted away, ravished. Let's get that. You know? All through the whole chapter. You know, not through the whole chapter, but from the woman on down to the men getting killed in the wars. Yeah. Start there.
Isaiah 3 and 16. Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks, and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet.
And we've seen that earlier today, all right, with a couple of them that walk by. This is a constant, everyday thing, right? Right now, they're walking in pride. When all hell breaks loose, they will not walk in pride. They will run. They will try to hide. They will try to grab any man that they think can save them. That's when the woman is going to come back in them. It's when fear happens. What do you think happens to the nation of Israel when we get into trouble? Didn't the Lord say in your affliction you will seek me early? Is not Israel likened unto a woman? The moment we get into trouble, we run into the man for help. Heavenly Father, please help me. When you should have been doing it all along. All right? These women are going to be looking rough. Your mom, your auntie, your cousin, your sister. All right? Miss Jackie down the street. They're going to be looking rough, man. All right? Yep.
This is 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3.
Yep.
For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child.
And like me and the elder Kasap talked about a while ago, you can tell a state of a nation when you see their women. First of all, when that riots and stuff was breaking out, remember the different riots throughout the U.S. that were breaking out here and there? Guess what? You see women in those riots. that means nothing's really happening, even though there's a riot. Because in true riot, in true destruction and violence, women are going to be inside, as they are in the Middle East. They're used to bombs. And when there's all hell, the women are inside. They are not out there with the men. So it will happen again. You can tell. When it really goes down, you're not going to see a woman out on the streets.
Unless you caught her.
Unless you caught her, or unless she has no place to go. She's going to try to hide.
Well, that
Okay.
movie, Salat, that movie, The Hurt Locker, a woman was walking down the street with her child, and she had the bomb on her. So you know what I'm saying. So if she's out there during the destruction, she's got to be part of it. She's part of it too. Don't think that she's not part of it. That goddamn woman is right there in it too, man. Don't trust nobody. You know? She got the main trigger on and shit, or she got the goddamn dynamite vest. They give their lives too, especially in the Middle East. You know? Now these American women, that's a whole different story. You break it down, she's fucked up. You know? That's a different spirited woman.
Yeah, they do not believe in rough labor. In the ancient world, our women were tending to flocks. They were giving water to the sheep. They were doing labor. That's why when a man told that woman he had to pay 50 shekels of silver. All right? He had to pay 50 shekels of silver. Is that a meter made or something?
Read the scripture again?
Yep.
It says, 1 Thessalonians 5:3, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And that's what's going to happen. What's going to happen is you think, oh, let's talk about peace, Juneteenth, and all these things that's supposed to be for your betterment. Right around the corner. Right around the corner. Death is coming for you, man. Why? Because we're not in that time. We're not in that time right now. Remember, when we talk about Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, there's a time in the season. That time in the season isn't like a snapshot picture. That time in the season is a duration. You see what I'm saying? So, in that duration, where are we? That's what you gotta ask yourself. Are we at the beginning of that duration? Or are we at the end, the middle, where we are in that duration of time, when there's a time to love, a time for peace? Where are we at? You know what I mean? And this is what you're supposed to discern. Where are we at? Are we supposed to be joining hand in hand? Is that the time? No, the 60s is over. The 70s is over. We're in a different time period. You know?
Go back to Isaiah.
Yeah.
Isaiah chapter 3, verse 17.
Yes, sir.
Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. In that day,
Which that already happened. You see, a lot of our women are cursed with their hair. Okay? But the thing is, you got a lot of women, they can go get hair products and all this and try to doll themselves up. It's really going to look terrible in them coming days. Okay? Go ahead.
in that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet and their calves and their round tires like the moon.
All your apparel, the things that keep you shapely, your shapers, all right? The jewels and, you know, modern day, the shoes that you tie around your feet and leg, all that stuff is going to be done away with, man. The high heels, the tinkling, all this stuff is going to be done away with. Go ahead.
The chains and the bracelets
The
and
chains
the
and the bracelets and the mufflers. Go ahead.
the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs
And the ornaments of the legs. Go ahead.
and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings,
And the earrings. Go ahead.
the rings and nose jewels,
The rings and nose jewels. A lot of them, you see a lot of them today got rings and nose jewels. There's nothing wrong with that. But guess what? These are the things that are going to be taken away. Okay? Go ahead.
the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles.
You know, a lot of them have a lot of clothes. A lot of them have a lot of clothes. So many clothes that's a lot of them they don't wear because they say they can't fit them. but they don't throw them out, they keep them. Right? They just got clothes all over the place, man. If you ever look at a woman's closet. Go ahead.
And the mantles, and the wimples, and the crisping pines, the glasses, and the fine linen, and the hoods, and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink.
And that's what you're suffering today. You're suffering stink down there in their privy parts, or area, I should say. It stinks. Okay? It's supposed to smell like oils. Water and soap first, then oils. Okay? All right, go ahead.
And instead of girdle, of rent.
And instead of a girdle, these shapers, all right, well set, body shapes, then you have a rent, meaning tear. You have a lot of stretch marks. You have a lot of our women that are fat. Okay, go ahead.
And instead of well set hair, baldness.
Instead of well set hair, baldness, man. All right, and that's what you have going on. You have a lot of our women on this sign that are going bald, even the northern tribes. Now, people think that the northern tribes ain't really suffering from it like that, but they are. You see later on, a lot of their hair starts to thin. They're getting thinning hair. It just hit the tribe of Judah or the southern kingdom more so. But the northern tribes are getting it too. Go ahead.
And instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth. And burning instead of beauty.
All right, so instead of beauty, the opposite of beauty must be ugly. It's burning. That's what they are. I remember the Apostle Gabar said that a long time ago. All right, he said, our women are ugly. Because when you get into the mindset and the attitude of these women, it is spiritually ugly, man. And it projects through their physical. All right? It's a lot of women that ain't 9s and 10s on the scale, but because of their spirit, they are beautiful. And the Lord is going to show you that when he changed your body in them last days. He's going to give you a body that matches your spirit. Like he's going to give us. We're not even in our true comely state, man. Absalom, even though he was wicked, they said he was one of the most handsome. And you know, back then they kept the law, so guess what? He had, not only did he have a big fro, he had a beard. And they still said that he was handsome, man. And you have a lot of our men that don't want beards because of what society is looking at. Meanwhile, the scripture speaks of our men was handsome. Having a beard with a fro. And a lot of women, you know, they're starting to dig that. Because the spirit is being pushed, right? And they're starting to see these men with no beards as being weak. You can see that through the spirit. All right? Go ahead.
Thy men shall fall by the sword.
And here's the other side. Because during that time, thy men shall fall by the sword. And what? The wars that are coming. The race war and the civil war that's coming to America. You have men that are going to fall by way of the gun. Somebody's going to roll up to them and shoot them. As the elders said, you had somebody in broad daylight shoot at somebody, and he missed.
Yeah, by 9 shots.
How are you this close and you miss? You want to know why? You niggas don't know how to shoot. No, he was actually shooting straight a little bit, bro. And was still right there and missing. And you know what happens? Number one, the Lord didn't want the dude to die. That's why he was that close and still missed. Number two, when you aim your gun, you're supposed to aim down the sights. Dummy. That's how you hit your target. That's why you go to a firing range and you look at the target down there, but on the ground, you see bullet holes on the ground or on the ceiling because people are just shooting like this. All right? That's not our gun, that's not our weapon anyway. That's not our, why you want a blessing of Esau? Now, there's nothing wrong with having one in your house, but still. All right? Yeah, 1 Corinthians. Yep. No. Second, no, not first. Go ahead.
Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war.
And thy mighty in the war, you're going to have mighty men overseas in the wars, actually falling. Okay? Then you're going to have what? Them falling over here in what you call America, Egypt. And rightfully so, because this place is wicked. All right? Go ahead.
And her gates shall lament and mourn,
Uh-huh.
and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground.
And that's what you're going to see. You're going to actually see a lot of our women, because their men have been killed. They're going to be lamenting and actually being on the ground. Imagine homes being ripped through, glass broken all over the streets, alarm systems constantly going off, but nobody's coming. Stuff all over, people going nuts. Women are going to, that's when people are going to be on the outside, because it's not going to be safe to be in your house anymore. Can't be safe if the house is broken into. Then guess what? A lot of them are going to be on the street crying because they're not going to have anywhere to go. You're going to call the cops, they're not going to come. Then that's going to be the moment of reality. All right? And you sit all this time and heeded to what? The men of the Lord telling you these things. All right? And what's the one major thing to avoid this? Isaiah 33:6. All right? Yep.
Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure.
Oh, we never got that scripture. Wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy time. And we're telling people to pray and heed to the commandments of Yahweh Shem Shai. And most importantly, you need to establish that relationship between you and Yahweh Shai. That means you need to get on the ground and pray. You need to do that. How do I know this? When you examine all the great men in the scriptures, every last one of them prayed to the Most High. Every last one of them. All of them prayed. So you, in turn, have to pray. All right? Go ahead.
That was it on that.
I want. We never got. No. Get that. Second Ezra 9 and 7, and then. Yeah, you can get the weapons of our warfare. You can get that too, and then Second Ezra. All right. 1 Kings 8.
Oh yeah, that's what I was actually doing now.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Get those first. Welcome, shot.
2 Corinthians 10.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 10, and start at 3. It says, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal."
Though we walk in the flesh, we are not going after the things in the flesh. Or warring after the things that are in the flesh. We're staying away. We're trying to stay away every day from being carnal. Okay? All right? We do not do the things of the flesh. For example, when you have so-called Black Lives Matter movements, you will not see us out there. Number one, that is not what we are. And number two, that is disrespectful to the northern tribes. Because it's not a black thing. You have a lot of groups that hate the northern tribes when they are your brothers. All right?
That's not our fight.
That's the worldly stuff is not our fight. Who cares about Juneteenth? Who cares? Wow. Because you transferred our ownership from actual personal Edomites to Edomites under the state? Wow. And then what are we celebrating? Are we celebrating Juneteenth in 1863 or 1865? Because it was already given in 1863. And 2 years later, after it was given, then people were told about it.
Yeah, they got the memo then, 2 years later.
And then, even after that, some of them still said F that and still kept some Jacob slavery.
Yeah.
All right? Now, this is how we celebrate. We celebrate by what? Bringing out the truth of the scriptures.
Precept.
Go ahead, bro.
This is Baruch 3 and 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us, for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers which departed from our Lord Yahweh our power. So how is Juneteenth a liberating day? How did slavery end it when the scriptures say we are yet this day in our captivity? We're still subject to payments. Why are we paying to our basically our slave masters still to this day. And we not even, during sharecropping, we got more benefit in sharecropping than we do now sharecropping. Because you see the disparity of the, the salaries between ownership and the goddamn people, the workers, the employees. So it's not even a fair equity. So we are yet this day in our captivity. Fuck Juneteenth, man. That means nothing, man. For real. We are still slaves into this goddamn system. And what we're trying to do is get our true emancipation through Yahweh Shemi Awashai. That's our true emancipation. We want ownership under a rightful ruler, not a wicked ruler. You see? So this is what we're striving for. We're not striving for no damn Juneteenth or no other amenities from the goddamn system, from so-called white man. Because it's fictitious, man. It's smoke. When he's saying he's going to the black churches, he's going to the different organizations of so-called black people to get them stickered, maxed. You see? So he can meet a quota. Oh, what are you talking about? A July 4th quota. What about the disease? You're talking about meeting quotas. Is a disease and people dying a quota? It must be, because he said it out his mouth, man.
Remember, as the elder read in Baruch the 3rd chapter, which Baruch was a scribe of Jeremiah during the time of Babylon. All right? The things that are aforetime happen again. There's no new thing under the sun. This is Babylon again. All right? And what happened? Matter of fact, can you read that again, bro?
Yep. This is Baruch 3:8.
Yeah.
It says, "Behold."
Behold.
Yeah. "We are yet this day in our captivity."
Behold means look. Look. With emphasis on it. We are yet this day in our captivity. So why are we celebrating Juneteenth? If the scriptures are saying that we are yet this day in our captivity, that means we are still slaves. You guys haven't gotten the memo. You have Hollywood, you have all these different artists in the industry complaining about there being racism. What's his name? The dude who played Finn. That wasn't even his name. They called him that. That's like giving you a goddamn slave name. Dude's name was Finn in Star Wars. He brought up the fact that there being racism. A whole bunch of other people talked about there being racism in Hollywood, in the music industry. And they're supposed to be celebrities, man.
Again, that's Disney, though. Disney owns Star Wars now. Disney is a racist, pedophilia, homosexual-filled industry, man.
Yes.
Always have, always will.
Yes.
And the brothers already know about the message that went out about Disney having a gay spectacular, man, where all the gay cartoon characters is gonna come together for a gay spectacular. And guess who's heading it? Disney, and the host is from the drag queen, which is this guy. What's his name? RuPaul. That's his product, and he's 20, almost 30 years strong.
Yeah.
That drag race has been around for a long time, man. But it's okay, you know what I'm saying? Because now, they bigging up gays. Last week was a killer. When I brought out that sign, I mean, so much knives was thrown at us spiritually.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But we need to bring that out more and more, because really, it's taking over now. It's directed towards our children. So you're gonna have a generation of people, of children, growing up okaying white man society and his wickedness. Where you got 2 and 3 year olds bigging up. What was the guy name on the Little Mermaid? The homosexual Jamaican, man, the crab. Yeah. He was gay, man.
Wow.
And that one.
You know what I'm saying? Down under the sea. That nigga.
Sebastian.
Man, look. Look, Disney has a group of gay characters, cartoons, man.
No, so the lobster itself was gay.
He was a crab or a lobster?
Lobster.
Look, he's gay himself.
Damn. The actor.
Not that. The character.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
the
I'm in
character. I don't know
damn.
about the
You know,
voice.
like,
I don't know about the voice.
damn. No, I'm just saying in awe, you know?
But this is what they directing towards our children. So when your children are watching SpongeBob and all these other, what do you call it? These cartoons, the rainbow, unicorn rainbows and all that.
yeah,
You got to watch what your children watching, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gay innuendos in it.
Yeah.
You know, Lion King had gay innuendos in it.
Yeah.
In the cloud, when Simba looked at it, it was a cloud. It was symbolism in that, man. You gotta watch these cartoons, especially Disney.
Yep.
Especially Disney.
Yep. So this is the vibration that's going on. You have Juneteenth, right? June 19th, which we're in right now, in the midst of Gay Pride Month. So once again, they are putting gay pride with so-called being black. Again, Black Lives Matter was founded by homosexuals. Again, they're linking struggles with so-called blacks with gays. They keep doing it. You see? Go ahead, bro.
Isaiah 19, verse 14. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof.
This is that perverse spirit. This is one of them. A wicked, perverse spirit. Another one is having sex with little children. That's a big thing. The brother said pedophilia, pedophilia. All right? Pedo, meaning children. And philo, lover of children. And it's not talking about in a good sense. It's sexual. All right? This is what they're doing. All right? Go ahead.
And they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit.
They have caused Egypt to err. They have caused America to err. America is in error. Okay? Can you read that whole thing again?